Hello. With me today is a very good friend. He's the lead pastor of the Co-Elect Christian Family Church, also known as the Waymaker Worship Center. And he's also the CEO of Wisdom Corner. He currently lectures at Kwara State University, Ilorin. Please join me as I welcome Dr. Adegbenro Sunday Ajani. Also, Ajani Adegbenro Sunday, you are welcome to this session of Success There.
Thank you so much for having me here. My pleasure.
I'm really delighted to host you today.
Yeah, thank you. You are welcome. We like what to do. Success There will continue, and then we continue to make way.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. All right, post COVID-19 has already started.
Okay.
It's not something that is about to start. There are some countries that, countries like China, some parts of the economy is, kicking back gradually. Even some parts in Nigeria, there's an ease in the lockdown. And some people have resumed work and all that, even though things have not, activities have not fully kicked off. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, especially in relation to the church. For the very first time in my life, I've never witnessed this this kind of lockdown that the church will have to, close all activities. No Bible study, no Sunday school, no prayer meeting. The first question I want to ask you is, what do you think are the possible challenges that churches will face, and that the churches are actually facing even right now? The challenges that you think the churches will face after this whole lockdown. Or I wanted to also highlight the problems, the challenges that the church is facing presently as a result of this lockdown.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you for bringing me here. And then I want to say that nobody prepares enough for this pandemic. In fact, you can't prepare for emergencies. You can't prepare enough for emergencies.
You cannot prepare.
There are times that things will have to happen unaware. But despite your preparation, is another power behind that, which is adaptability. How much you are able to adapt to the situation on ground. And that's what we see everywhere in the world now. Some countries, though they were hit more than some of the sub-Saharan countries, but they adapted very quickly, and then they still retain their power despite all what we have seen. And that's why adaptability is very important and is another power beyond preparation that can be used. So I want to say church church is facing currently two major problems, which is immediately from now, church will face the same problem that the world will face, which is the physical one. This is going to be the finance. Church will face the financial problem, just like the economy of the world. We have to defeat some of the things. Though we are Christian, we live by faith. And then that's physical. The other spiritual problem that I think the church may face or we face is weariness. And that's spiritual. In the prophecy of Prophet Daniel, in chapter 11, it says some things in verse 31 and 32. It made us understand that there will be sanctuary pollution, and then the strength of the sanctuary will be polluted. And then in verse 32, it said, those that know their strong, their God shall be strong, and then they shall do exploits. Now, talking about strength, the opposite of strength is weariness. So definitely, weariness will set in one way or the other. People will not probably want to attend church services like they do because they will get used to this online thing. And then, of course, if I can survive for 3 months not going to church, If I don't go for 1 week or 2 weeks, I will not die. So that will come up as a psychology to people. And pastors have to do a lot of work, and then clergy, they have to set up and spark up revival in churches to let them know the importance of gathering, coming together as a bunch of religion, Christians, and a bunch of saints of God to actually pray together rather than just staying individually and like entities like that. So those are the two major problems that church will face shortly: finance, and then of course weariness among the members. And that's why concerning finance, I would say that church has to be extraordinarily careful. They must manage the resources available very well. The era of throwing money around in unnecessary projects should have been gone by now. People should have learned their lesson that now much important now is people more than the building. You want to build the multi-million, the multi-this, multi-that. Church should now know that human capital is what is very necessary at this point in time in the end time.
Wow. I learned so much from what you just said, and that's really inspiring, and that's really powerful. Well, that's going to lead me to the second question. You talked about the fact that churches, pastors, and set men should, after this whole lockdown, they will try to, or rather, they should try to do some revivals, or some so that, and also do some teachings to encourage people and to let people know the importance of gathering, because like you said, it's going to come up. I'm sure it's going to come up. A lot of people will think that, okay, if there could be a lockdown for several months and we were gathering online, we're doing online services and all that, then what essence? Why should I go to church? Why should I go to a physical building? Church. Now that is going to come up a lot.
Yeah.
So it's going to come up. Now, sequel to what you just said, in relation to what you just said, I want to ask this question also. Now, so it's just going to be an elaboration of what you just said. How should churches position themselves strategically, or what are the things they should do this post-COVID that has even started now? What are the things they should do, or what are some of the measures the church should put in place in order to help people or to integrate people back into the normal church system?
All right, thank you, sir. I would speak on three things. Number one is the prayer aspect. We can't joke with prayer. When things like this happen, church should gather back and begin to pray. And then when people begin to see the impact of that, people will know that when God said, "Do not forsake the attendance of the saints, of the people that we should fellowship," God had seen ahead that there's going to be COVID, there's going to be many other outbreaks. He has seen that, and they are taking care of that in His Word. Another thing that church will do, which is number two, is to invest heavily on media. There's an opportunity now for church to invest heavily on media to people that you cannot reach physically. Try and reach them at the comfort of their homes too. It will be very good. Set up good media departments in the church. And then the third thing they need to do is also to invest heavily on welfare. This is where the 21st century church is really having problem. When Christianity started, we saw a lot of welfare packages that churches brought, including schools and hospitals. Most of the schools we have in Nigeria were actually funded by churches. But nowadays, we see churches making those things as business, education as business. So it should get out of norm. We should not make those things as business anymore, but as a particular medium of evangelism, which is to touch the life of the people at the end time. I'm foreseeing a time that church, we have to come up and gather and pay WAEC for their students. For all the members that want to write WAEC. It's possible in the country. Church can come up and say, okay, we are paying for all the WAEC of all the students writing WAEC. They can team up. They can pay for JAMB I mean, it's going to bring a kind of relief to people, because that's what we are admonished to do. Another thing is the business angle of the church. Church should focus more on the enterprise, which is basically what can church do that will benefit church members. There's not, if you have a lot of grant, if you have campground, many of them you are not using, you can convert them to farm. If you farm there, some of your members will work there, and then whatever you produce there will still go to the members. So instead of just bringing people up Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you are having programs, and then at the end of the day, they do the programs and there's no turnout, there's nothing you can say that have come up as a result of the program. So church have to shift their paradigm to human empowerment. You must empower your members. You must make sure that there's no idle ones among you hiding under prayer cover, and you must make sure you expose them and give them necessary tools that they need. So those are basic things that church needs to come up with in this post-COVID era that we have. And like I said, let me just take us through some progressions that will really help us. In around 1700, it was really the land. Land was the order of the day. The much land you have, that's how wealthy, that's what determines the level of your wealth. Then things changed in 1800 and upward. It became the era of industry. How much company you have became the prowess of your wealth. Then after World War I and II, around 1945, 47, 1950, it turned out to be education, and then computer electronics came up. And then the certificates you have, once you have certificates, you know you will get a very good job. And then things are changing currently now. Immediately after that, computer literacy came in, even though you have all the certificates. And then if you are not computer literate, then you will still not be employed. So with that now led us to the 1995, 1998, 2000, 2005, where we have the era of, even apart being computer literate, you must have another skill. And that's what led us to this. But very shortly after now, two things will determine the direction of the world. And then the issue of currency. One currency had already come now, and that currency is not really money. It's going to be data. Data will be the currency that the world will be spending. Data will sell more than gold. Data will sell more than petroleum. So the world is migrating towards data currency now. You will buy land with your data, you will build house with your data, you will go to school with your data, you will buy car with your data, and things like that. And then the second one is robots. The adventure of robots. Robots will come and replace a lot of things that we see all around. Now we realize we don't need much people on our street like we do. Now we realize we don't need much people in school like we do. We have so many robotic and artificial intelligence gadgets coming up to replace the norm, a lot of things that we have seen, because this is the time that we need to adapt. When things like this strike, people, some will develop crutches, while some will actually develop wings to fly. So I hope church will be part of the entities in the world that will develop wings and fly over this pandemic and then overcome it in a very short while.
Wow, this is so insightful. I feel honestly that you should not stop. This is so insightful. I've really learned from you. But
the church will invest more on education, invest more on healthcare, invest more on food, invest more on agriculture. The church will diversify and go into those areas.
Wow.
You know? And then to the politicians, we should let them know that spending state money to campaign is no longer the order of the day. Give people what they need. It's embarrassing when the country cannot sustain itself for like 6 months. I mean, and feed the country and feed the people, and then you just have to force them outside the lockdown and things. It's so much embarrassing. I mean, the nation should also do something in that area. For a country to be stable economically, you must be able to have a lockdown for at least 7 years, and nothing will happen. You still keep feeding your people, but we can't see any of that happening now. So that means even the whole world is not stable. We should go back to the era of Joseph and learn from what happened in Egypt.
Wow. Oh, that's really insightful. Now, just before you go, Pastor, we talked about the fact that very soon people will start using their data for transactions and all that. Now, what exactly do you mean data in terms of internet data, or you mean data in terms of information?
Yeah, I'm not talking of analysis data. I'm talking of internet data you buy with your money. So now it's going to be, instead of, now if you send me 10,000 naira data, I mean, I can convert that to money and still sell it to people. So if I want to buy a car of 3 million, if you have data worth of that, you can transfer it to me. And then so data will be an agreed currency, that we spend.
Wow.
In the world. Yeah.
Wow. I've never heard of that before, really.
Yeah, that's the inspiration now. Actually, this pandemic, before it came up last December when I was on retreat, God actually showed me, and I put it on record, that things like this is going to happen this year. And God told me it's going to be early part of the year. Though he didn't mention COVID-19 or COVID-20, he just told me early part of December that's going to be a heart-threatening disease. So, and then another thing God is showing is that we should still prepare ourselves. All right, we should still prepare for another time, because things like this will not. It's part of the end time. So we should prepare to adapt to things that will happen, any time from now. God will help the world. God will help us, and there will still be remnants. And as part of the remnant, we should try and help ourselves. Charity is the order of the day now, and that's what is necessary. You can work from home now. You don't need as much as space, as much as branches that you think you need. You don't need as much as office space, and you can work from home. For those who are not on essential services in their place of work, you can work from home. So companies should come up with that strategy. I mean, if you need to pay people on commission, it's not a must, especially all of our ministries in Nigeria, the federal ministry of this, of that, people go to office. You can't really account for what they do. So for some people can work from home, let them work from home. And then they can engage in some other profitable things to match up with their finance. Then if you have farm at your backyard, make sure you farm. If you have land, that's another thing. Grow what you eat. That's what I campaign.
Wow, thank you so much, Pastor Adegbero Ajani. You've been
a
blessing to us today. Honestly, I think we should not stop, because I'm actually learning a lot from you. So thank you very much for coming on Success here today.
You are welcome, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, sir.